Today we're going to discuss what to do when you encounter an angry driver, and more specifically, what not to do. This footage comes from a Target parking lot in Frisco, Texas. Moments before this video was shot, the two vehicles collided.
This lady is running into this guy.
And while David Slayer tried to exchange insurance information, the other driver had other plans.
She didn't move because he hasn't moved yet, and then she's gonna run into him. Oh my God!
The driver continues backing up, and not just into the other car, but into Mr. Slayer.
Why are you going behind my car?
You're hitting me!
Behind my car.
You broke my car!
As the driver continues to ram into Mr. Slayer's
Give your
car,
call the police. Call it, hurry up.
stunned eyewitnesses call out to him.
Sir, you need to move!
But he ignores their warning,
Get away from my car!
and they call 911.
Hello, there was an accident in the parking lot at Target.
Without hurting Mr. Slayer, the driver leaves the parking lot.
Driver's license.
Danielle Iredale is a defense attorney. In this case, both drivers had a duty to exchange information after an accident, right?
That's right. Anytime you don't stop after an accident and exchange information, it's technically a hit and run.
But in this case, the man tries to block the woman with his own car and then later on with his own body.
This is not a good idea legally or in terms of common sense. You can't block someone in. Could technically be false imprisonment. You should never use your body to block a moving vehicle. Nothing is as important as your physical safety, and here he really put himself in danger.
Right, you hear people yelling, "Sir, don't do that, don't do that." I mean, she was intent on getting out of that parking space and repeatedly bumping his car. She could have hit and hurt him.
Certainly, it's a really jarring video to watch. We don't know what happened before. We can only comment on what we saw. But in this case, I would have advised that gentleman to get out of the way. Legally, he can't block her in. And it seemed like she was intent on getting out, and his safety was really in jeopardy.
So he committed a crime by trying to block her.
He did. You can't block someone in. You can't restrict their freedom of movement. It's false imprisonment.
So in this case, some sort of fender bender in a parking lot escalated very quickly to serious charges on both people.
Absolutely. This is a really good example of realizing that no matter how wronged you feel in the instant, almost always the best thing to do is to take a breath and let things get sorted out later. We saw this was on camera. He would have had her license plate. This could have been figured out later, but this really turned into such an escalated incident.
So bottom line, if you find yourself in a situation like this, just make sure you get the person's license plate. That'll be enough to tell the police and even the insurance company?
Absolutely. If you have the license plate, they can find out to whom the car is registered. The other good advice is to always have uninsured motorist coverage. That will cover you in a situation where you have a hit and run and can't identify the driver, or someone hits you who doesn't have insurance themselves.
You also don't ever know who you're dealing with in these situations. I mean, somebody could be really off balance or armed with a weapon. I mean, before you start getting in somebody's face, you should really think first.
Absolutely. I think about that all the time. Road rage is so scary. In fact, I always yell at my husband to please never flip people off, because you never know if you're going to run into someone who's having a bad day or a mental health issue who's really going to put you in danger. Something that might feel good in the instant to kind of get off your chest can really subject you to terrible consequences.
In this case, in this parking lot, both people are really lucky no one got more seriously hurt.
I was shocked watching this video. It's wonderful that both people were not seriously injured, but this could have escalated. And I think what we're not thinking about is the other bystanders who might have been hurt. There might have been a young mother walking with a baby who could have been behind this car. This escalated things. And while I understand why this man was upset based on what I saw, what he did really not only put himself in danger, but potentially many others.
The Frisco Police Department did complete a criminal report, but did not press charges, stating that a brief online clip will never provide a complete picture of an incident, as there is always something that happens before and after the recording. The two drivers handled the dispute through insurance.